your side chick. Okay? Listen to whatever podcast you love, but listen to us on the side. We will be your dirty little secret.
I totally agree.
Right?
I totally agree. We'll take your sloppy seconds.
I'll degrade myself.
We will do all the stuff that other podcast won't do for you. And you, at the moment, you don't even have to show us off to other people.
I'll a fleshlight for you. And here's the thing. So many of these podcasts are demanding that, hey, listen to us. Listen to only us. We're fine.
Mm-hmm.
We understand our place in the hierarchy. You can go have a lavish brunch with Joe Rogan and meet us out by the dumpster while you're pretending to go to the bathroom. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. I have no shame if you want to invite him in and play us both at the same time. I mean, you could twiddle your thumbs on that.
I will grease up that bald head and do strange things. And here's the thing, okay? I want to be real with you guys. I think that a good relationship is based on honest communication.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's actually 100% true. That's not even a bit.
Stuff you should have known. My Happiest Homicide. First podcast on the right. They're all ripoffs.
What?
And I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
What?
No, we are Tyler.
What?
Tyler, we stole that shit.
No.
It's
a totally original idea, Ryan.
No. It's all fake. It's all fake.
It's nothing sacred to you.
It's like not wearing underwear under this dress. We're just trying to impress you. And I'm sorry about that. But we are happy to be your side hookup. I will come. I don't want to say what I'll do, Tyler, but I want to be your dirty little secret.
I know what I want to do right now.
Go ahead and tell me, Tyler.
Fuck murder you.
Oh, well, Tyler, could you curse less? It's making editing very tough for YouTube.
You're a bad person. You're a bad person. That hurts my feelings. Totally original idea.
That's the joke, is that it's not a totally original idea.
It's not a joke anymore if you explain it.
When it comes to sloppy thirds and fourths, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Tyler.
And we are those guys you hate. Salutations, my Haitians, and welcome to the show whose origami business folded. To my left, my bestie since the testy, Mr. Tyler Menendez. Tyler, how you been being?
It's also cheesy.
What is?
It's also cheesy.
Tyler, we have been besties since the testes, and you know that's true.
That one's super cheesy, but the origami business that folded is actually kind of adorable.
It's just a pun, bro.
It's adorable.
It's just a pun. I mean, we've done so many of these. There's not really much left to say.
I was gonna say, what are we, Bob's Burgers?
I'm tapped out now.
The pun has already been claimed.
On today's show, furries. Not just for breakfast anymore.
And later on today's show, Ryan, how badly have you wanted to own a human skeleton?
Is a shitload an actual quantifiable amount? Because
I think so.
No, we actually looked this up one time. Remember, a buttload is an actual, I think it's like 177 liters or something.
Well, regardless, I know where you can get one for free.
Okay, cool. We're gonna delve into that. We have so much to get into this week. Hello, and everybody, welcome to another Those Guys You Hate, and we're trying out something different here, okay? And maybe you could lend a little bit of credence to this. Tyler, I've already mentioned it, wants me to curse less. He wants us to curse
both
less.
Both of us. It's not just you,
Explain
man.
why.
Well, we're putting our videos on YouTube. You can go find us on YouTube. We're actually working on getting a very specific link right now, but it's fine. We're finding that it's a challenge.
Sure.
We're putting our videos on YouTube, and we are told we shouldn't curse too much on YouTube, and having to bleep out every F and S that we use is tough.
And Tyler's been putting in a lot of work, and it is a lot of monotonous work. But if you want to see our ugly mugs while you're listening along to this thing, please reward Tyler for all his work and go over there and give it a little click, give it a little like, be part of the Haitian army.
Yeah, just go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com and it's got a link to everything we have.
I appreciate that. And before we move on, I just very quickly want to say, poopy, tits, ass, cock. Tyler, what causes people to do volunteer work?
That'll be fun to bleep.
Prime time, baby.
Well, there's the pessimist in me that says you do it for like court order, whatever it is.
Sure.
And then there's
one of those sticks with a nail on the end. You got to go to a highway and pick up litter.
Well, that's it. I'm just picturing a cop, like a sheriff with the aviators on. He's got a shotgun across his lap sitting on the back of a horse.
Yep. You and 6 of your friends are chained together by the ankle.
And there's one of those weighted balls at the end.
Sure. What happened to that thing?
think there's been technology, evolution of technology in the weighted. What's the word for that?
I believe it is this
ball
guy.
and chain.
This guy is a murderer. Bring me the bowling ball of punishment. Thank you.
Yeah. So
No, you're wrong, Tyler.
okay.
What makes people do volunteer work is the way it makes them feel. Now, this is a conversation that has been going on in the Menendez family for as long as we could remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Volunteering isn't real.
Right. Volunteering isn't real. You're doing it selfishly. And we want to embrace that. We want to feel good. So what Tyler and I have done is we have made up for the very first time on this show what the kids are calling some merch, Tyler.
We got some merch.
We got some merchandising. Merchandising.
Yes.
And describe to them what that is.
I mean, who the bleep doesn't know what merchandising is?
Describe to them.
T-shirts, baby. We got some mother bleeping T-shirts.
Tell them what the shirts say, Tyler. That's where I'm trying to lead you to.
Too woke to work, baby.
It says too woke to work. On the back, we got the
logo.
On the back, we have Those Guys You Hate logo. And this is the reason that we have put them together. We are not selling them. We are going to do a raffle, Tyler. Now, we are still putting together the logistics of this because when dealing with other people's money, we've got to be very careful and we want to make sure that we deliver on this. But we have found something that we're very interested in. What is that, Tyler?
Hookers and cocaine,
Hookers
Ryan.
and cocaine. And while we were doing said hookers and cocaine, we came up with another idea.
Donate to a good cause.
Donate to a good cause.
Yeah.
We're going to do this raffle and we're going to get ourselves up and running. And the money that we make for it is going to the Children's Crisis Center down here in Miami, Tyler.
Yes, they do a lot of really good work with kids that are in shall we say, not so great situations.
Right.
People in kids in abusive homes, kids with parents on drugs,
Kids who have been Baker acted.
all of that crazy stuff.
And the idea is that 50% of all mental illnesses begin before the age of 14. So to break the fourth wall here, Tyler and I found this thing where it's about kids, it's about mental health. It checked all the different boxes, and we want to actually do something good. Instead of telling you guys to do good stuff here on the radio, we actually want to follow through with something.
Not on the radio.
So, and something else that I think is really great is that while donating this money, you get to design your own bricks that are going to be there at the front from when people walk in. I think we could have a lot of fun with that. And again, make this about us, Tyler.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about that part.
Well, that's the final goal. That's the ultimate goal, is all the stepping stones on the way to this thing that we want is good deeds, good acts, good intentions. But the ending part is you and me, baby, riding high, feeling good, never having to do anything for anyone ever again.
A happy ending, if I've ever heard of one, Tyler. And so my question is, I was having this conversation with somebody earlier this week, and we were talking about cults. Can you have a good cult? Or is a cult just what we assign the name of something that we don't understand and we're afraid of?
Well, I don't know what the exact definition of it is, but I believe, I mean, what's the difference between a church group and a cult?
I was going to ask you, is Christianity a cult?
Well, it's not just Christianity. I think any group can become a cult if they believe in something absolutely enough. If they are like cults, when you think of a cult, it is always the absolutism of the thing that they believe.
My leader is a deity. There's a spaceship following Halley's Comet.
If you go to Jim Jones, the cult of I guess it was just the cult of Jim Jones.
Everybody refers to it as Jonestown.
Jonestown was the actual location, but nevertheless, how that got started, the ending is with, spoiler alert, 900 people either committing suicide or getting murdered.
Being suicided.
Yes, being suicided, although I'm sure there were some that believed it so strongly they took the Kool-Aid willingly.
Most of them.
But he got started in a really positive way. He would go out into the neighborhoods.
Methamphetamine.
He would donate his time. He would lift up the impoverished. He was a good person doing good things at the beginning, and again, ended with 900 dead bodies. Best
laid plans. Am I right? And that is my question, is it just nomenclature? Is that what separates a church group from a cult?
Absolutely. It's the same thing with terrorism. The terrorist is in the eye of whoever's being terroristed.
Sure.
A lot of the people who are being called terrorists, I'm sure a lot of them look at themselves as freedom fighters.
And they think of us as terrorists.
Of course.
Life is crazy, isn't it, Tyler?
Yes, it is.
Makes me sad. If only we had a segment in which we could discuss that.
No one cares, you don't know what to do.
What the depression is a carousel that I built with my hands very poorly, and we crank it up to let you know how down we are. Tyler, how you doing this week, brother?
Carousel is right, Ryan.
How about that?
I am good this week, Ryan. I've been doing fantastic. Yeah, you know, honestly.
It's been annoying, if I could be totally honest.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
When you're up, I'm down.
Yes,
and I just don't like it.
Yes. We apparently only have so much happiness to share between the two of us. Like the three old seers from Greek mythology that share the one eye. We have so much happiness that we have to share between the two of us. And it's not a whole lot to go around.
Tyler and I share happiness. And there's not a lot to go around.
You are definitely the gay one.
Oh, for sure. The homosexual and the gay one.
So this week, I'm great. As a matter of fact, I found myself in a situation where in the past, I would have become so insecure and so like I would have secluded myself and immediately left. Not only did I not do that, I had a blast by the end of the night.
Are you talking about at a Halloween party?
Yes, the Halloween party that we went to. I find myself in a room full of my friends, and so often I find midway through, man, I feel lonely as shit. Man, I feel insecure as shit. Man,
I'm disconnected from all these people.
I gotta get out of here.
Sure.
And I felt that start to rise a little bit, but
what did you do?
I told myself, I said, hey man, we're here to have a good time. That's it. And this was in the beginning of the night. By the end of the night, I was having a blast.
I love that.
Yeah.
Man. That makes me happy to hear genuinely.
Yeah, it was fun. So this week, I'm gonna say I am at a 4, Ryan Walton. 2, 3, so good.
Wow. Well, that's great, man. And I think that goes back to some of what we were talking about last week. Do you know what to do when you don't know what to do? When you feel those thoughts, when you feel those feelings coming on, the fact that you knew there was a place to go, I think that is growth in and of itself.
For sure. And it's also very much, hey man, this ain't real. Like this always happens right when I get in these scenarios. It's not real.
It's not real. I could decide to follow this down or I could follow another path.
Yep.
Gay it up. Tyler, I recognize something this week, and that is, and tell me what you think about it. This is my opinion. It's not a fact. Life is one big science experiment. Life is a science experiment on yourself, kind of much like what you're talking about. That was an experiment. You said, you know what? Instead of doing what I always do, I'm going to try to do this, and you got a different outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah, experiment's a good word. Usually they always just called it, inappropriate touching, but experiment definitely is better.
An unexpected personal touch. I am on the portion of my science experiment where I have been through a million different trials. I am on the portion where I learned to live without the pursuit of comfort. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So many of the problems in my life, even we talk about the drinking problems, we talk about the substance abuse, we talk about so many of these different things. That is you and me trying to find comfort in an uncomfortable situation. And so I would ask you, what would be the purpose of trying to live without trying to find comfort on a momentary basis? Why would you want that?
Well, I would think that it frees yourself, like on this battle for comfort. Every little thing, every decision that we make in our lives is to make our lives easier, and yet we talk about it a lot. I think at the end of the day, it winds up making it worse.
Sure.
I think the convenience is making us miserable.
Absolutely. And I think the idea is I will be happy when I get that new house. I will be happy when I find my spouse. I will be happy with a mouse. I think the idea is that you will never be fully comfortable. It's an impossible task. And when you constantly are putting a limit on what you need before you can find some sort of euphoria, it is a cycle that never ends. You will always find a problem. No matter what giant mansion you move into, you will then have to pay bigger electricity bills. Your solutions will then become their own problems. And if you're constantly looking for a way out of it, you're going to be running that race until the day that you die.
Be happy for Sisyphus.
Be happy for Sisyphus. This week, I am at a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was really at a 7, Tyler. I was lying.
Really?
Yes.
At a 7. Wow, I know this isn't a competition until I just made it one, but I believe I won Depression Index this week, baby. Woo!
Tyler, we're talking about our own personal health, like mental health, and how we're supporting each other and we're rallying together so that we could be there.
Yes.
And you definitely won, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by you. You know what else I noticed this week? I also noticed something else. A couple of shows ago, you and I were heralding, we were singing the Psalms of one Lil Nas X. I call him Little Nas X, but nobody likes it.
I do as well.
Little Nas X. Oh,
yes.
Little Nas X.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about how original he was. We talked about how he was basically doing something that we had never seen before. Do you recall?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you about to like call him out for plagiarism? Or?
I am.
Oh, no.
I am. Because it came to me that Little Nas X is basically just Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element. Lil Nas X just is a total ripoff of Chris Tucker from Fifth Element. Am I right about that?
No, Chris Tucker didn't sing. He was an MC.
What?
He didn't
all night long. All night.
It was a little clip. That's basically what you do around the house.
And are we impressed with Lil Nas X anymore?
No.
We most certainly are not.
What is this, weekend review?
Now, Tyler, I asked you something this week that I'm guessing you totally forgot about.
More than likely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I asked you if you wanted to do a douche of the week.
Oh, that's right. You did ask me if I wanted to do a douche of the week.
You want to take a quick pause and think of something?
Go ahead. I already got one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you go first. So,
okay.
I mean, let's,
thank you.
I'm more than happy to take a pause if you want to get your bleep together.
I'm okay. I already got it. I'm going to do it right off the top of my head, but I got this one primed and
locked
ready.
and loaded. Okay, let's wander right in. Let's do douche of the week.
Ryan, for this week's douche o' the week, I feel like this is just something that I'm just bashing, a wall that I'm bashing my head against constantly.
Sure.
My douche of the week this week is every billionaire on earth.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't got to be one. You can hit 999,999,999, give away the rest of it, and your life would not change.
Yeah, I've
Dickheads.
heard this argument before, but it seems against the human intuition in most cases for people to give away their money. You would agree, right? And what makes them a douche?
I don't know. I'm just shouting from the rooftops. Well, what makes them a douche? And this is where I walk in a gray area because who am I to tell people how to spend their money? I can't do that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, man, I forget who it was, just released a report that 2% of Elon Musk, who is now the wealthiest person on earth, just 2% of his wealth could fix child hunger.
Yeah.
2% of your wealth, man. Like, you know how many problems in this country alone Bezos and Musk could fix, and they're just shooting their dicks into space instead. And I'm not saying they shouldn't do that, right? But man, let's get rid of like some of the really terrible stuff happening right now.
I obviously agree with you, but you hear this argument all the time, and it is a gray area because people, I mean, then what? Once they do that and they fix homelessness, then what? What else is next that you want to do with their money? And I'm not talking about you specifically. You hear this argument all the time. You know what I mean?
Agreed. But let it be, I want to make it very clear that while I am saying billionaires, you're my douche of the week, the real issue, without getting into a serious conversation, is the system that allows people to accrue this much wealth in the first place.
So what would you do?
Change the system.
Okay.
Change the rules that these people abide by.
No taxes for the rich, Tyler.
Exactly.
Let's teach them a lesson.
So billionaires, arguably the system, you are my douche of the week.
I'm not even sure who I'm mad at. I just know that I'm mad. You know what I mean? I know what I want. I just don't know how to get it.
I don't know who to direct these feelings at. All I know is that I have them.
All right, Tyler, for my douche of the week, you're doing a big giant thing. I'm talking about one specific person.
Usually
Tyler.
how it goes.
That's the way that it goes, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Now, my douche of the week is, I'm really mixed, and I hate saying it, but it is just an honest fact, okay? This week, for maybe the second or third time in my life, somebody bought me flowers, Tyler. I don't know if you noticed. Somebody bought me flowers. I had them in the kitchen. It was a very nice, very rarely are men bought flowers.
Very much so. As a matter of fact, the benefit of living with you is I just pretended that somebody brought those flowers for me.
Oh yeah, those were for you. Yeah. I left them in there for you to enjoy, Tyler. I'm glad you enjoyed them.
Oh, now, my secret admirer struck again. This is crazy.
Now, these flowers were specifically lilies, Tyler. They were lilies, okay?
All right.
And now here is where things kind of fall apart. Lilies are filled with pollen, Tyler. Are you familiar with pollen? Okay.
It's the offspring of plants.
Sure.
It is plant sex that produces
plant
this.
sexo,
Yes.
Tyler. Semen, plant semen.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
here's the deal.
Yeah.
That pollen was all over fucking everything. It was murder on our kitchen this week. Tyler, did you notice that? It stained the sink. It was all over the cups.
Is that what that was?
That yellow pollen everywhere.
I thought it was just grease from food that you brought home.
Nope, that was the pollen from the lilies. Now,
wow, lilies are basically the terrace cell of flowers.
That's what I'm saying. Now, what I'm saying is do some research before you do something nice for me, okay?
Yeah.
I appreciate the idea, but you fucked up the delivery. Person who brought me flowers, you are my douche of the week.
It's like you actively root against the relationships in your life.
Why, did somebody say something about me?
When I have a relationship in my life?
What I love about that segment is, and this is real, but I'm tearing down the curtain here, Tyler. I know you hate that. What I like about that segment is when I'm in my life and I have complaints in my mind about something that is good, I'm like, this is perfect for douche of the week. Because, little spoiler alert, I'm always the douche. Tyler, let's take a quick little break. Let's regroup. Let's hide our secrets a little bit better. And then when we get back, we'll do something. I don't know.
Those guys.
What has he done? Can you tell me? Big Magic Johnson, what has he done?
Well, he's a business person.
He's got AIDS.
You hate.
I mean, he made love to every girl in every city in America, and he had AIDS. And when he had those AIDS, I went to my synagogue and I prayed for him. I hoped he could live and be well.
Those guys, those guys, those guys, those guys, those guys, those guys.
There are these two lizards in the backyard, unlike any lizards that I've ever seen. Down here in South Florida, we have a lot of native wildlife, Tyler. Are you familiar with where you live?
Somewhat, yes. A little bit.
Just my room.
We also have a lot of encroaching species that are also lizards, as a matter of fact.
Of course. That's the problem is that down here, because of the temperature and a lot of different factors, anything can live down here. So when you bring a non-native species down here, they tend to flourish.
Yeah, very much so.
Bleep you, lionfish.
Yeah, and if you go to the Everglades, it's even worse.
Do not go to the Everglades. I mean,
unless you gotta like hide a body or let out like a really
know.
bad fart if you're in like a new relationship.
I would rather go to jail for murder than go to the Everglades, Tyler. Is that unfair?
But in the Everglades, you get to ride an airboat.
Jail forever, Tyler.
I don't think they have airboats in jail.
Oh, airboats are friggin' awesome.
They are.
I ain't even gonna lie. Okay, but nonetheless, getting back to these two particular reptiles.
Forgive me, continue.
They're about 9 inches long. They're huge.
That's what you think 9 inches is? Damn, dude.
They're about 9 inches long. And here's the thing. I spend so much time in the backyard that they have now lost their natural fear of me.
Ah, that's nice.
Is it?
Oh, you don't like lizards?
It's not like Disney movies. There's two of them, and they
start
got
singing. See what happens.
I was just waiting for it to come dress me, Tyler, but that time never came.
I was just waiting for them to come and put my cape on for me.
Are you gonna sew this button or what, mother bleeper? So the two of them were involved in a skirmish, and one of them ran and hid behind me, and I'm thinking we are getting way too close here.
Yeah.
I appreciate your business.
Now you've become the oldest sibling, and when they fight, one hides behind you from the other one.
I don't know really what to do with it, but I think I'm going to have to start showing my authority. But the problem is I don't have any, Tyler, so I'm not sure what we're going to do.
It's called your boot, Ryan.
Speaking of not being sure of what to do, I got this, Tyler. I've got this, okay? Don't put your head on the microphone. This is an audio medium, genitally speaking. Can you please fill in? Do you want to hold it? Talk to the audience, Tyler.
I'm defeated.
I got my fleshlight, ladies and gentlemen.
He just pulled his fleshlight out of his backpack.
Not for me, for you guys, okay? Ryan Menendez put this whole thing together. Now, I've opened it, but I haven't opened it. You know what I'm saying, Tyler?
Is this making me a prude because this makes me uncomfortable? Please write in at thoseguysyouhate.com. Write in and tell me if I'm allowed to feel uncomfortable for this.
It came in yesterday.
Or if I'm just a prude. Am I a prude? Tell me, audience.
That's the thing is that we're taking away the stigmata of...
That's stigmata.
Sure, stigmata. It's got a hole in it. We're taking away the stigma of... these sex toys, Tyler, again, not for me, because I think they're disgusting.
Thanks a lot, Dylan Harper.
I mean, there she is.
She's very pretty.
Yeah, she's looking nice.
She's a beautiful young woman. Thanks a lot, Obama.
Keep up the tight work, Dylan. And so I'm just letting you guys know that it's a go time, man. Really, pretty soon we're gonna have some input.
That's Dylan Harper modeling her own vagina, pocket vagina.
That's exactly right.
Wow, I wonder what that experience must have been like.
It's like being John Malkovich, but just with pussies.
And a lot more dicks, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm glad we were able to breach this wall as a brotherhood, Ryan, and now we can put this. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words.
I will let you know what happens when I finally do breach that wall.
I'm really looking forward to it,
now,
buddy.
Speaking of taking the stigma off of something, I have learned from my son, who's 13 in 8th grade.
Weird segue.
That he has furries who go to his school. He has furries. Now describe to the audience what a furry is.
Well, a furry is somebody who likes to dress up basically as a mascot, where they wear an animal mascot suit,
like a costume,
and they like to get down, they like to get freaky, they like to bang. Right
now, explain that to me. Now, in regular, not these kids, we're talking about regular adult furries.
Well, may I just ask, the furries that go to your son's school, meaning that they are students along with him?
Correct.
Well, I guess get them started while they're young.
Now, here's the thing. From what he has described to me, is that there is nothing that the administration can do about it, because they are part of the LBT. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm so bad at this. What is it, Tyler?
LBGTQ.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nailed it. I was going to do a BLT joke, and I'm like, that's just not right. Or that's not the right time.
And Chappelle's already done that. So.
Did he?
Yeah, he's made fun of the letters before. Maybe not BLT, but
check.
you know, yeah.
So they can't do anything about it because it falls under that umbrella.
So they wear their costume to school?
They wear their costumes to school.
That is an amazing angle to this. That I am on board for.
Well, what do you think about just that general idea of kids being allowed to, because they are kids, they're under 18, being allowed to dress as furries to express themselves? Now, I know your natural instinct is just to say, hey, let everybody express themselves, let them do their thing.
That's not my natural instinct.
Well, okay.
Going back to a conversation we had, I believe it was on the pregame, the terminology of how you define these things, the appropriateness of these things shifts from person to person.
Okay.
Shifts from group to group.
Nuance, baby.
Very much so. And while I do almost always fall on the side of let people just be themselves, there is something to be said about, hey, we're getting a whole bunch of people together to learn and you're being a distraction.
Yeah.
So I understand both sides of it, sure.
You keep whipping me with your tail. You know what I mean?
I know. Here I am trying to learn, and now I've got a full rager because you're confusing me with your animal costume. I'm apparently into it. What am I supposed to do?
A full rager, this guy says. Now, does a furry thing do it? Now, is it because nobody can see who you are? I'm unfamiliar with the environment of the furries.
As am I. I don't know why you're trying to portray me as an expert in these.
Should we call up Drew?
Now, where do you store your furry costume?
I wear it at all times, even in the shower. I'm a never nude.
For that reference, go to the last episode where we have a very interesting interview.
That's right. Now, and also he told me there's a girl who dresses at all times like an elf, which is a different thing, I assume. I don't know.
All right, now I'm getting more and more into this conversation.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think it's good. I think it's bad. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. It's, well, you know,
that's a segue.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. If you have anything else to add on.
Well, I was going to say, I think it really, and some people would see this as a negative. I think it shows the way that society is going, just in the sense of the younger generations, which I guess is just kind of how it works, are far more open-minded than the previous generations before them.
Now, do you think there's any way that this could end up being a problem for us? Is there a cutoff line where you're saying, hey, this is too far, we're going too far? I'm genuinely asking the question.
For sure, but there's always been a cutoff point. And the cutoff point, just like everything else, shifts with society as a whole, but there will always be a cutoff point where that ends, or where it is, changes by the day.
Okay, I love it. Great job. Let's do GBI.
Ryan! Ryan.
Oye.
You are very much a nature kind of guy. You like nature. You're one of those hippy dippy losers that like to go out and commune with nature.
You nailed it, bro. You couldn't have said it better.
Thank you. Well, from butterflies emerging from their cocoons to the northern lights, there are so many wonders on this earth that can only be viewed during a very specific time of the year.
Sure.
Right?
What about that island where all the crabs migrate at one time and it's like the floor is alive?
That would probably make my skin crawl a little bit.
Do it, buddy. I couldn't do it.
But there are the I believe the birds called the starlings, where they have this mass migration and it's like a cloud that anyway, sometimes Mother Nature likes to do us a solid and will give us a little preview before it's due. Like cool parents letting their kids open up presents on Christmas Eve or
making them smoke a whole pack of cigarettes.
Not the angle that I was going
cool
for.
Parents, yeah. Wait, KOOL.
Oh, you want to... Hey.
How about that?
Oh, so you want to skip school, huh? Well, how about you smoke a whole pack of cigarettes?
There you go, and I'll do it with you.
Have you ever heard of the Firefall before, Ryan?
I have not. Was that show that was canceled that made all you nerds freak out?
This, Ryan...
Yeah.
This is Firefall. This is a distant photo. It is in Yosemite National Park, and it is a waterfall that when the sun hits it at very specific times during the year,
wow,
or a very specific time during the year.
Do that again.
Thank you. Now, this happens only during a very specific time of the year, namely February, when the light hits the waterfall just right. It makes the water glow neon orange.
That's incredible. That does look like molten magma.
Well, at first, I thought this was a photoshopped picture.
Sure.
But this is
a natural photo.
Look, I have a new photo for you. This is a natural phenomenon, and this is how it actually looks. It looks like lava is flowing down the mountain.
And where is this again?
Yosemite.
I would love to see this. This looks incredible. Now, what time of the year? You said it's in February.
It's in February,
right?
But because there was a very specific weather occurrence where this rain just came and swept over. Right now is the dry season.
Okay.
But because of this huge torrential downpour, it got the water just right. And
beautiful.
Mother Nature showed us a little bit of this at a time when it was almost the opposite end of the year for it.
That's really awesome. This is, I think, just made it onto my bucket list, which before this only listed one item, which was don't die. So now we got two things we got to get taken care of.
Well, best of luck to you, buddy.
Thank you. I've been doing some research.
All right, so Ryan, we're gonna go into our bad, and who doesn't love a good natural wonder? But that was just to lighten us up for the next round, buddy, which is... This one's kind of weird. I don't even really know how to make a joke out of this.
I'll take care of that.
For our bad, a 15-year-old called the cops recently and said that his two brothers and him were in trouble.
Okay.
So the cops show up at this Texas apartment. God damn it, Texas.
3 brothers, always a bad idea.
Always a bad sign. Well, it was 4 brothers, but the 15-year-old called. It was a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Okay.
15-year-old calls up, says, we're in trouble. The cops show up, and what do they find?
A dead brother?
A dead brother.
Oh, damn it.
Not just a dead brother, his skeletal remains, Ryan.
Oh.
The 4 of them had been living in that apartment for about a year, the 3 brothers living next to their decomposing brother.
What happened to the brother? And listen, we are middle of 3 brothers, and there's 2 rules. Okay, you can fight. All those things are good. You could yell. You could call somebody gay for 13 years until it actually makes them gay. You don't ever punch, and you don't murder. I think murdering is off the table.
Okay, when did you or Michael Menendez ever follow the rule, don't punch?
Excuse me, let me rephrase that. You don't punch in the face. There's no going back from, we never punch each other in the face.
Yeah.
A punch in the arm, a punch in the dick, a punch in the butthole, no big deal.
Of course, yeah, or just, tie him to a basketball hoop and leave him there for hours.
Or tie him to the garage door and open it up and break said garage door.
All true stories!
Little mini sesh here in the middle of the reggae set.
That's true.
Yeah.
So this happened in Texas, as I said, Harris County, where the deputies responded to this apartment call, and they walked in, and it was skeletal remains, Ryan.
Yeah, that's pretty macabre.
The 15-year-old had been taking care of the 2 other brothers. He couldn't do it anymore. The cops are now the kids are now in protective custody, and the parents have been located, Ryan.
Yeah, that's a great question. Where were the parents?
They abandoned them and just took off. They were found. Now they are in prison, and now he's taking out his pocket pussy while we were in the middle of this children's body rotting near their brother's eyes.
But now, do we know how the kid lost his life?
Malnourishment. He just died in the home.
So the 15-year-old was a pretty poor breadwinner, huh? I mean, he wasn't really taking care of the household?
We don't know it yet, but it's more than likely that the kid died while the parents were still there.
Okay, that's not good. It kind of reminds me of that Hoarders of the lady with all the cat skeletons. But
only a child this time,
now,
Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, what are cat besides just little furry children? Now, my question is, why did the parents leave? Do we know?
I would assume because they're terrible parents.
Yeah.
My assumption is, and they didn't give specifics. They didn't give specifics, but usually when you see these kind of scenarios where the parents just leave, they're usually drug addicts, alcoholics, people who can't even take care of themselves.
They're in crisis.
Yes. So and this kind of stuff honestly happens all the time in some form or another, and I just wanted to bring up the gruesomeness that is humanity.
Yeah, it is tough.
Sick bastards!
Yeah, and living next to your dead brother, not as great as you would think.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Real letdown.
Really sure? I feel like that's just somebody you could talk to at any time.
In a lot of ways, I've been living next to a dead brother.
Is that a joke at my expense?
Sure.
All right. I was just wondering if you had killed somebody.
Are we still rolling on this?
And you had called them your brother.
Taylor.
Oh,
Love you,
Taylor
Tay-Tay.
Menendez.
Yeah.
Too Far Menendez.
Good old Too Far.
Well, Ryan, for this one, we're going to go to Perry County, Kentucky. Now.
Gay Perry.
Yes. Now, we're going to go to the city of Hazard. Hazard City, Ryan.
Hazard City.
Hazard, Kentucky, Ryan.
Dukes of Hazard.
Are you just going to make 70s references until the end of time?
That's all I know. I'm old.
Now, Ryan, this, as I said in our opening, the gray area of pedophilia.
Okay.
Which is not a real thing.
Okay, good, because that leaves a lot of questions to be asked.
Which is why I put it at the beginning.
Let's go.
You always told me we got to draw them in with that beginning segment. I figured that'll bring you in.
Yeah, bringing in the positivities of pedophilia, I think, really always grabs people's attention.
I called it a gray area.
All right, let's hear what you got.
Well, this was actually going to be my bad, and this goes to show how internet vitriol and reactions to the things that we see on the internet can really distort our view of what's happened. Going to Kentucky, Hazard High School, on their Facebook. It's like people don't even know what Facebook is. They posted pictures of... I'm sorry, your gigantic pocket vagina is really distracting.
I want to
me
see if you want to touch it.
I really don't.
I think you should.
I don't.
All right,
I wasn't even going to touch it in the box.
Okay. I haven't used it yet.
They had what they call a male dragon show.
I like where your head's at.
I miss
dragging my dick across your face. Sorry. Comedy podcast, Tyler.
Was that even comedy?
Comedy comes in once.
A male drag show.
Okay, different.
Not a male dragon show. That's something else.
That's a different
entirely.
situation.
That's how I go prepared to my D&D games. Well, they had what was meant to be a fun and good-natured event where the kids dress up in different outfits and they do a drag show for the staff.
Okay.
Now, a drag show can be where they just dance and have a good time. A drag show does not need to be some sexualized thing.
But why would they? Isn't that getting yourself into an area that you probably want to avoid? Like, why are we having kids dress up in different genders? And
well, it wasn't specifically the men have to dress up as girls. It was just, hey, you could dress up with however you want, and the kids have fun with it. You know,
sure.
And some of the girls will come in Hooters costumes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yes. Well, as you can imagine,
it didn't go well.
It went a little far this year, Ryan.
All right, go on. You have my attention.
So on Facebook, pictures emerged of the principal and other employees at the school sitting in chairs while these kids dressed in different outfits gave them provocative dances, Ryan.
Good on them, man.
Yeah, what you and I in the know would call a lap dance.
Yes. Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yes, except in this one, the adults were the ones having their wishes made, and they're all creeps.
That's crazy, man.
No, but you know what? And this is the gray area that I was talking about, where this was originally my bad.
Okay.
Where I read this and I was like, pedophiles, these people are creepy.
Just not being aware of social norms.
Yes, and obviously pedophiles is an exaggeration, but I read this and I'm like, creeps.
Yeah.
Creeps, you can't be doing that.
Sure.
And I stick to that, you can't be doing that.
Definitely do not want to do that. This is not the place for that anymore.
Agreed.
Yes.
And times are a change.
Thank goodness on this one.
Very much so. But this is an event that takes place every year, not this far, but just takes place in a year where the kids get to get creative. It is a student-led event, and they get dressed up and they do all these different things.
Okay.
This year led to lap dances.
Yeah.
Can't be doing the lap dances.
I'm going to agree. And it reminds me very quickly of a story of my son was on a basketball team. His grandfather on his mom's side, otherwise I'd just say my dad, and I were the coaches. And he is a guy who is not always aware of social norms. He, in the middle of a practice, went to Shirts and Skins.
Yeah.
Shirts and Skins.
Well,
and I got the fuck out of there. I got the fuck out of there.
You didn't shut it down?
No, I didn't. I was just so uncomfortable that I slunk. Can you slunk? I slunk away into the shadows.
You definitely slunk.
I slunk. It was terrible. Oh my goodness.
Well, and this goes to show that was the norm during his time.
Yep.
You're right about
that.
Shirts and Skins was something we were doing when I was a kid, and I hated it.
We all need to be a little bit more aware of Shirts and Skins.
Very much so. So as I said, this was an event. Here's the kicker. The principal of Hazard County School, the mayor of the city.
Much like Prince Charming.
And
he makes the law.
No. This is not the case.
Lap dances are fine in this county.
I rule on this date each year shall be known as Lap Dance Day. And his name is Donald Happy Mobilini. If your nickname is Happy, FBI, look into this.
Except unless you're part of the Marvel universe.
Now, there's been hundreds of people in this county counter-protesting.
Fighting for him.
Saying, hey, this may have gotten out of control, but this is perfectly fine. The question is, this is the gray area. What do we say is okay?
And that's like that Netflix thing or children's, what is it called? Cuties?
Cuties.
Children's glamour, competitions. I forget what it's called.
Pageantries.
Pageantries. What is okay and what is us exploiting children? I think that's a really interesting question.
Very much so. And there's gray areas with everything. What's okay for me may not be okay for you. As a matter of fact, what's okay with me is definitely not going to be
And
okay
I think that we can all agree that sexualizing children is not the right move in this society, but what counts as sexualizing?
Absolutely.
That's where I think we are.
And when you leave kids up to get dressed on their own, to dress up in whatever costumes they come in with, and they want to show more skin than you're comfortable with, who gets to say that what's okay?
The adult. If I'm the one going to jail, I make the rules.
I'm speaking generally, of course.
Yeah.
But what happens when it's the reverse? When the little kid wants to say, when the child wants to say, hey, I'm not comfortable dressing in this, and the parent says, you got to. Like pageantry.
I think there is no right answer. I think that's exactly what you're saying. The goal line moves on these things in the different situations, and I think we're just going to keep going through this forever, such as the human condition, where we argue over things that we don't agree with.
Spoken like a true creep, Ryan, that is GBI.
Fantastic, Tyler. Fantastic. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to do an old segment to wrap this thing up, but unlike the way that I did it the first time, okay? Do you remember Can I Say This?
We did an episode a few weeks ago where the entire episode was basically a Can I Say This?
Can I Say This?
So I think it likes to present itself at different times throughout each episode, really.
Absolutely, because we're always on the edge of what's okay and what's not okay. Satire, baby, satire. But the idea is that I say something that seems shocking, but then I give you the nuance that lets you know, hey, maybe this is okay to say, or maybe it's not. I guess we'll find out. But this is just a one-off. This is something I ran into this week. I had the thought. I want to share it with you. Are you ready?
Please.
All right, Tyler. Can I say this? In our neighborhood this week, I saw the biggest, I saw the fattest, I saw the baldest man having a conversation very loudly. Now, is that rude for me to bring up?
Yeah, because the problem that you have with this person is them speaking loudly, and yet in your description of them, you point out the bald and all that. So
no, here's what it is, because
Weird.
obviously you hear that and you say, that's who the F are you to talk about somebody's physical appearance?
especially with that amazing head of hair that you got going on.
It would be
over there.
awful. It would be awful.
ridiculous.
But here's where I think I'm allowed to say it. This guy was speaking to another one of our neighbors at the loudest volume that you could possibly imagine.
Hispanic volume, yes.
Speaking, yes, in 11. Speaking about different women and bringing up they're each, I don't know what women they were talking about. I don't know if they were talking about some sort of like Hooters or a Twin Peaks situation, but discussing women one by one, bringing up each of her individual flaws. Like she has fat arms and she has, and I'm looking at this guy, I'm walking to the dumpster and I'm looking at this guy. You know me, man. I try to stay away from categorizing people from their physical attributes. It's just not who I want to be. That's not, I don't want to pick on people for that. But I'm looking at this big, fat, bald piece of shit that is just dismantling women one by one, and it's what came to my mind. It's the vitriol that rose up in me was palpable.
Yes. Well, the problem with that is the moment that we start doing that, because I'm guilty of that crap too. The moment we start doing that, we are just reinforcing the idea of doing that.
You're right.
Because it's his behavior that points to his grossness, not the way that he looks.
You're right, but it's just when you hear that from somebody, it's like, do you feel like you're God's gift to women?
Agreed.
And you're right. And I would like to think I go throughout my day without looking at people's physical appearance and picking them apart. But this guy was just asking for it. He was coming from the pool and he's holding his towel. And I'm just like, bro, get the F out of here.
Yeah.
Man. It really made me angry.
Well, and the thing is, and this is really what it comes down to, is the fact that all of those things that he was pointing out on all those women, the way that projection works, those are the things that he sees in himself. He must hate the way that he looks if he's willing to say all that stuff.
You can't spell projection without rejection, Tyler. Tyler, could you please?
I guess that's true.
Is it true?
I don't know.
I didn't even do the logistics of it. I hope that works out. Tyler, tell people how they can get in touch with us.
Oh, no, not true. You can go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com. And as we said earlier in the show, we have all the links right there for you on the page. We made it so simple for you. We need your subscriptions. We need your reviews. We need your souls, ladies and gentlemen.
We need your approval more than we need water and oxygen. So that's just where we are in our personal journey. Tyler, great job this week.
Your approval is my water and
That's
oxygen.
exactly. I will drink it like a cat drinks milk out of a bowl. Wait, you're doing teats, Tyler. What's the moral of the story?
I'll milk it out of them. For this moral of the story, I am going to steal rule number 32 from Zombieland. Enjoy the little things.
Okay.
Enjoy the little things. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle and the stress of everyday life. But don't forget to enjoy the really little things that happen in our day. Maybe if you call an Uber and it just happens to arrive within 60 seconds, or maybe you get some food and it's just one of the best plates you've had in a while. Don't forget to just enjoy things that are happening to you on a daily basis.
You know, I was at the grocery store the other day and I was going out to my car and I had a quick little moment. And I don't know if everybody does this or not, but you should. I rode that shopping cart all the way back to my car. Do you ever do that? Do you ever do that?
Not since I was a kid have I done that.
You need to get in there and do it because it just feels good.
That's
it's
a good
just
one.
fun. And if somebody's judging you for doing that, bleep them, man, because those are the things that make up life.
Well, the thing with that is guys, no matter what you do, literally no matter what you do, someone's gonna judge you for it.
Especially that big fat piece of shit.
Stop doing that.
Sorry. I don't like it when people judge people, but he's a fat jerk.
You know what? This is a safe space. Let it out, buddy.
You piece of crap. She was my sister.
And yeah, she's gained a little weight.
Right.
recently,
Yeah,
but
heavy in the arms.
That's because of the baby.
That's in quarantine. You heard of it?
Right.
The baby's fat too.
What's the moral of the story?
The moral of the story is, I think it's time to figure out what is, man, I don't even know how to put this. We're all trying to figure out what's right for other people. Should furries be allowed in school? Should transgender people be allowed in the men's bathroom? Should all of these different things? And I think that we need to worry about ourselves. Is that fair? Instead of worrying about somebody outraging you, figure out what is it in you that's getting outraged. Don't be so easily offended by everything.
Well, this is where we're back in the gray area, because I could not agree with you more. But what happens when somebody is doing wrong by somebody else and you see that and want to care about that.
I think that's where the line is. If you're doing something that only affects you, then I think it's good on you. If you're doing something that affects other people, now the problem is, how easily are you affected? I think we're living in a world where people are so easily offended. And I believe that is by design. I believe that somebody stands to benefit from us constantly in the middle of a civil war, an international war, where we're all fighting against each other.
Well, before modern technology, the things that used to upset people didn't happen in front of your eyes all the time.
That's exactly right.
Now you're being projected this stuff constantly.
Yep, and doom sells, Tyler.
It really does. It probably more than sex, to be honest with you. People like being upset.
It's about time to change that up. We are those guys you hate.
Be kind, or we'll kill you.
All right.
Red circle.
All right. Man, I just can't. Hold on. No. All right. Wait, no, that doesn't. Is this it? All right. Tyler, let's just get right in here.
Coke alert! Coke alert!
You're sending a lot of sounds my way to start the day off.
All right.
It's a lot to take in all at once.
I'm in a weird mood, man.
You are in a weird mood.
I am. I just, what do they call that when you hate all of society and everyone involved with it? What's that called?
I believe that's called nihilism, Ryan. There's no point to life.
Sunday.
Right?
That's what we're calling it, Tyler. Tyler, you heard the kook alert, and I respect it. Tyler, I have been opening up space in my body, much like they talk about in yoga. Are you familiar with this idea?
And gay porn.
And gay porn.
Mhm.
Well, that's what it is. I think that finding yourself is the gay porn of living.
Well, spirituality, it's obviously the spiritual side of it, and the gay porn is the physical side of it. You know, you need a little mishmash of both.
Well, they always talk about being filled with the Holy Spirit. So I don't know specifically, and that's not like teen spirit, but you know how in yoga, that's kind of what they're teaching you, is to open up your body, to make space in your body.
Yes.
So I'm doing that with certain parts of my body, and it hurts, Tyler, on the inside.
Oh, you've never used it before.
That's it. Unlike gay sex.
Exactly.
Tyler.
Yes.
I've been listening to Dateline.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day when they announce that they're dedicating the show to you.
It's coming. You know it's coming.
So are you.
Right. It's like a kid watching his favorite football team as he's growing up and then one day becoming the quarterback. I hope that's what happens to me with Dateline.
That is an amazing and albeit terrifying analogy that you just made.
It's a moose-boosh of a bunch of things, Tyler. But I've been listening to Dateline again because I have now completely started over the 250 podcasts, going right back.
What is this, the fourth time?
Third or fourth time, something like that.
Yeah, okay, that's also scary.
And I heard something on there that I am going to bring up every time that I hear it. I have already told you about this because you overheard me talking to someone about it. It's about the guy who got busted for a murder and happened to have a tattoo of him urinating on the guy's gravestone on his back.
Yeah, that's a bad move. I mean, at least he got it on his back and not his forehead.
I'm not a lawyer, but that's probably not a smooth idea going into a trial. Like that's pretty.
But how did they know it was there?
Irrefutable. I think they take pictures of your tattoos and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
How great! I would love to be in the courtroom as he tries to explain that coincidence. Like, no, I swear I had this before.
Different Tom Jeffries.
So weird.
Nah, it's a different guy that I murdered that you guys never picked up on.
You're going to blame me for this murder when I'm totally guilty for this other, much better, much more well-prepared murder, I might add.
How are you feeling for this week's show, Tyler? Where are you at?
I'm good. I usually have a lot more fluff, but this one, it's just a cold-blooded GBI.
Why? What do you mean by fluff? You are a fluffer generally?
I'm a fluffer, but usually I have a big oof. Usually I have a happy death day, international hello. Today is just GBI and my beautiful personality.
What happened? You didn't get the divine intervention this week? What happened with
I feel like you're trying to lead me into a specific.
I'm not. I'm just warming up with you, buddy. It's good to see you.
Usually when you do this, that means you're doing something.
My brain is working at a very slow rate today.
Yeah, I just usually they hit me throughout the week, and somebody will die or a story will happen.
Oh, lucky us.
I'll be like, oh, death day. I didn't really get any of that this week.
No problem at all, Tyler. That's it. Just checking in with
Plus,
you.
I don't owe you mother bleepers anything. What, you come over here, think I'm supposed to be a tap dancing monkey for you, entertain you all day long?
Your camera is perfectly in between your eyes and my eyes. It is about the size of a cigarette lighter.
We're perfecting it perfectly.
It's like a sensor on a TV. It's just perfectly in between us.
I was speaking to the audience, though. I appreciate you asking me how I'm doing.
No problem.
Though, you people out there, no.
I don't think you're allowed to say you people. And the last thing that I have here for the pregame, Tyler, and you're going to think that this is bullshit, but how do you think, we're very famously from Miami, how do you think that you say the word sex in Spanish, Tyler? How do you think that you say the word sex in Spanish?
I mean, for the joke, I'm just going to go straight to sexo.
The word is sexo, Tyler.
Oh, yeah! Do I speak Spanish?
See, you certainly do. The reason I bring it up, because sexo sounds like if you're making a joke and pretending like you know Spanish, you would go to sexo, right? Mm-hmm. You always put an O on the end of whatever it is.
Or an A if it's a lady.
It's truly sexo.
Yeah, well, that's
women don't like having sex, Tyler. We all know that.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Female orgasm is a myth, Tyler.
I'm not entirely sure that's true. Man, I can't. Oh, baby, you want to go in and have some sexo?
We're going to have a little bit of sexo. Can we get a quick timeout? I'm getting a phone call here. It's probably from spam. But
probably important.
Let's see. Ryan Hernandez. You bitch.
You're just going to leave me on red like that?
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
What is the purpose of the robocalls that when you pick it up, nobody's on the other line and they just hang up on you? Now, I understand when somebody's trying to sell you something, but are you familiar with the robocalls that have no one on the other line?
I actually know the specific purpose of that.
Please tell me.
Yes, I actually read about this once before where they will call you from a number, and a lot of people, when they don't recognize it, and it's like, hello, nobody's there, they will call the number back. Like, hey, somebody called this number. And they charge you like crazy fees for you. They can't charge you fees if they call you. The moment you call them back, they start racking up fees because it's like a long distance phone call.
I wonder if this was one of them. Hold on. Let me call these people back and let me see if
it might be important.
Yeah. Hi, this is Ryan. I said my real name before. All right, let's get it going.
All right.